Okay, you up? All right, good morning.
He's older than me.
Todd?
First off, this is first
Hold on
mistake
to
of the
me.
day.
Hold on to me.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. The injured guys, how'd they come out of yesterday, and you expect more? The guys that didn't practice, so you expect them to be able to do some more today?
Some will. Yeah, some will be limited today. So, I mean, everybody's making progress. It just being on a 6-day week, it'll take the full week.
And then, when you were evaluating quarterbacks coming into the draft, what are your thoughts on Jaden Daniels, and what have you seen from him?
Well, first thing is, you look at the arm talent. I think that's, as you go through guys, you start to separate them. Played a ton of football. That's something that I'm always impressed with. But he can make all the throws. He's athletic. I think they're doing a really good job. I think he's a great fit for Cliff's system. You've got to be real impressed with how he's taking care of the football too. I think for a young quarterback, that really stands out also.
Travis Schroeder with The Athletic. With Jake Ferguson, what is the process in the concussion deal nowadays? When obviously there's different levels to players when they can return. So is it one of those things where the medical staff just tells you, hey, he can practice now, or just how do you guys go about when he can get back on the field?
Yeah, I mean, the details of it. I mean, they've obviously have changed over time, but yeah, he is in the protocol, and as he moves through, we're made aware of how he's doing. Obviously, when we see him, we get to talk to him. So, but yeah, that's all driven by the medical process.
And with Brevin Spanford, just where do you think he's grown the most since you guys signed him?
I mean, I think he's grown all the way around. I mean, he's getting stronger. His understanding of playing all three spots, bless you, is very impressive. But I think the young man has a very, very bright future. He has a wide body, but he definitely moves like an F. The movement things that we ask him to do. So I think he's done a really nice job taking advantage of opportunities. And the one thing you really don't know until they get here is to see how he plays on special teams. So in his limited opportunities, just during those conversations of how we were lining those guys up, he made an impression on John Fausel and our special teams coaches.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. I know you got a lot of moving parts with the offensive line. How concerned are you about that group and who you might have available for Washington?
I mean, yes, you're always concerned, when you're not, standing here and different back in training camp. So, but this is that time of year that we're in. We go, you're on a 6-day schedule, and so, and really, my concern won't rise until we get done with Saturday's practice. So we got the full week. So we'll take the full week to figure this out.
Have you ever given a special teams coach as much power in a sense? I don't know if that's the right word. Like you do Fossil.
I would say no. I don't even know what the end of the question is. So.
How much do you trust him, I guess?
Oh, I trust John. Yeah, no, I think John's very, I trust John tremendously. I think just like anything, what you learn as a head coach is the importance of, the details in a job description, in every job responsibility. And what I've learned over time is how valuable the special teams coordinator is beyond just his, primary responsibility of special teams. He's very involved with myself and Ryan Feeder in our game management process. He's very involved in our penalty prevention and officiating process. Even on game day. Especially since myself being a play caller, he's very involved in our we call it the COWBOYS 6, our continuing education process of the fundamentals of football. So these are things that I've just learned over time because the offensive defensive coordinator positions, their job responsibilities are more diverse with the management, particularly of the assistant coaches, where John is managing one coach. So yes, you could really make the case that he takes on a lot of the assistant head coach responsibility. So yes, he's definitely a very, very, very trusted comrade.
Joe.
Joe White, All City Dallas. You mentioned yesterday Deron Bland has to get past the threshold to complete the process. What exactly does it take to complete the process?
Well, I just got to see him practice. I mean, we were in a walkthrough yesterday. With helmets. Today we'll be in shells. So, just to go play football and not be in a padded practice since August, that's a bit of a challenge. But it's just we got to do the best we can. Most important thing I'm looking for is for him to be confident and comfortable to go out there and do this. And I think with that, just the communication with everybody involved is critical. So and that's once again part of where we are in the season as far as how we have to practice. But he's been pushing this thing now for about 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm not as concerned about his conditioning. We just want to make sure he's football ready, and that's obviously a challenge to do without being in pads.
Darren Woodson is a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame again. Do you have any memories of even playing against him, coaching against him, or as a player?
Yeah, definitely. We were just talking about him with the PR staff, and the only time I really got to see Darren play live was with the Kansas City Chiefs. We came down to Dallas on Thanksgiving Day and played in the game, and it was a very physical football game, and you obviously, the Cowboys being defending champs, you knew of Troy and Michael and Emmett and Dion, and just the prominent guys that you watch from TV and so forth, just because being in the AFC that I've never competed against them. But the two players that day that I thought just jumped off the field to me was Darren and Jay Novacek. Jay actually had a big day. He had a big touchdown where he jumped over our safety, scored from about 50 out. But I didn't know enough about Darren that day, and I've always been so impressed with him because when you look back at that era of football, primarily defenses, stayed in base personnel, and had Dion that just basically shut down the left side of the field. But you're able to play nickel and strong safety and do the things in that era. I always had such great respect for him as a player. That's my memory of 1995, coming down here and losing that game on Thanksgiving. But and then just to get to know him a little bit, here personally, I just a stud of a man.
Okay.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, what is it about Cliff Kingsbury and his scheme and the way he's using Jaden Daniels that has him so comfortable so early on?
I think the big thing is he's keeping them in clean plays. I think the tempo definitely favors the offense. I think every offensive coordinator would like to play that way. So I think that part of it's been very helpful. But he's dynamic. You have to have that extra support element because of his threat of running the ball and his ability to throw on the move and be able to hit all the different quadrants of the field. So I've been so impressive. And Cliff throws a lot at you. He does a great job. So he's going to schematically stress you, and Jaden's a big part of that.
Yeah.
Coach, City Staples, DG10 Sports, 2/3 of the way through the season. What have you learned about your team over the course of these past few weeks that maybe you didn't know back at training camp?
Well, you never know how resilient they're going to be because, you have to go through the fight to find that out. And I think these guys are, particularly, the locker room, most importantly, have just really stayed the course, just with all the different moving parts. So I've been very impressed with their work ethic and ability just to stay after it.
Kristen.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio on the Fan. Dante Fowler was a valued member here with the rotation. Can you speak to how you see Joe playing to his strengths and his numbers? It's not just the sacks, but he's one of the leaders in tackles.
Yeah, definitely. He's very impactful. And just, we used him a little bit in a couple of goal line sets when he was here. He was an X factor there, but particularly just his ability to, crash the C gap, but really go, a lot. D-Law does, just we call it a veer technique. So he's been very, very productive in that, in particularly run situations. So Donnie's playing very well, playing with his hair on fire. So he's playing a lot more, obviously, there than the opportunities he had here. And he's been extremely productive. Stayed healthy. He's been healthy too.
Dave Loffmer, 105.3 The Fan. Mike, you mentioned Cliff Kingsbury there, and they do more no huddle. I don't know what. They do as much as anyone, if not more than anyone, with no huddle. So what stress does that put on your defense?
Oh, communication, number one. You got to, the communication of the call, and just, once again, defensive guys. And I can remember reading this. Bill Parcells had a quote once where, anytime, the defense was on the field, 6 plays, offensively run the ball just because, they're not really designed to, to be on the field that long. So the ability to really stress their conditioning is definitely a weapon of the no huddle. So I think that's part of it. But the biggest challenge is really the communication. It keeps limits your substitution. And like anything, we all want to, match personnel and things like that, and particularly down a distance in situation football. So it definitely stresses the defense.
Saudis with The Athletic. Mike, after the draft, there was talk about the confidence and demeanor of Tyler Guyton. As he's kind of gone through the growing pains of a rookie year, how have you seen that hold up?
I think he's, charting a path that's probably pretty normal for a rookie. The grind of it is this is the longest football season of his life. Coming off his last year at Oklahoma, and then the off season, get ready for the draft. And I think the biggest challenge for these guys is fighting through the injury part of it. And he's had his share of things to deal with. But he's a consistent young man.
All righty.
Thank you.
Back to Cowboys News TV, your ultimate destination for everything Dallas Cowboys. Today, we dive into one of the most talked about rumors in football. Could Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Let's unpack what this could mean for our team, and more importantly, for you, the fans. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your support is crucial. It helps us grow and gets us closer to our goal of reaching 12,000 subscribers. Let's make it happen together. Deion Sanders is currently the hottest name in college football, leading the Colorado Buffaloes to new heights. But here's the kicker. Legendary Cowboys wide receiver Michael Irvin says Deion is 100% ready to take over as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys on one condition. Can you guess what that is? Stick around because it's a game changer? What do you think about Coach Prime possibly coming to Dallas? Drop in the comments if you're excited or if you're not on board. Let's see where the fans stand. Now, let's talk about Jerry Jones and his usual larger-than-life style. Jerry recently spoke about Deion Sanders during a radio interview. While he praised Deion's incredible recruiting skills, he also hinted that coaching in the NFL is a different beast. Jerry said, "Recruiting is not a huge prerequisite for NFL coaches." Is Jerry being cautious, or is he trying to throw us off the scent? If you were Jerry Jones, would you hire Deion Sanders as the Cowboys head coach? Vote in the comments. Type YES if you would or nitrogen monoxide if you wouldn't. But here's the twist. According to Michael Irvin, Deion's acceptance of the job depends on the Cowboys drafting his son, Shedder Sanders, as their quarterback. Could you imagine a father-son duel leading the Cowboys? It's almost too wild to believe, but with the Cowboys sitting at 3-7 and potentially landing a top draft pick, it might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Would you support the Cowboys tanking the rest of the season to draft Shedder Sanders and bring Coach Prime on board? Let us know in the comments. We're dying to hear your take on this bold strategy. Of course, Deion himself has said he's happy at Colorado and isn't planning to leave. But let's be real, coaches say a lot of things. Even Jerry admitted that Deion is one of the most dynamic personalities he's ever met in football. If Jerry wants to make a splash, this could be his golden ticket. What do you think is more likely, Deion coming to Dallas or Jerry sticking with McCarthy? Share your prediction below. Here's the bottom line. The Cowboys need a major shakeup. Whether it's Deion Sanders, another big-name coach, or even sticking with McCarthy, one thing is clear. We, the fans, deserve a team that competes at the highest level. This offseason is going to be critical, and you won't want to miss a single update. Before we wrap up, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on that notification bell. Let's keep the conversation going. Your voice matters, and we want to hear it. Together, let's push toward that 12,000 subscriber milestone and keep Cowboys Nation thriving. That's it for today, Cowboys fans. Thanks for tuning into Cowboys News TV. Don't forget to leave your thoughts, vote in our polls, and share this video with your fellow fans. Until next time, stay passionate, stay hopeful, and most importantly, stay loud. We'll see you in the next video.